was in the clouds.
We actually have a pretty good turnout here, about 17 members and our guest speaker. Welcome, Phil. We're going to proceed with a little bit of a meeting, Phil, and then we'll bring you on to speak with us. All right, ring, ring, ring. The bell is ringing. Bill's bringing it up. What's our Rotary motto?
Service above self.
And Bill, if you will, flip the page. And members, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, under God.
Liberty and justice for all.
We need to write that down.
Okay, we were all out of sync on that one. Okay, everyone, if I could ask you, please, for a moment of silence. Think about our nation, the trials and tribulations we're going through, and a little prayer inside your head to make it all better at some point soon. Okay, thank you, everyone. All right, reminder, Bill is recording the session. And first on the agenda, things are not looking great, but we're going to let Paul talk to us a little bit with a COVID update. This is something
before you do that, is Jackie standing for a reason?
This is something every week that is changing quickly. So Paul, if you will.
Well, the
Okay, Paul.
the number of cases of COVID, of course, as most people know, have just exploded. That's true across the state. The record, the cases, the number of cases is just extraordinary in the past week, far exceeding any previous numbers. Virtually every location that I look at. In Northampton County, we had 138 cases last week. 41 of those were in Cape Charles. The record number of Cape Charles in any previous week was 15. The only good news is that with this huge, very, very rapid surge, it's likely to peak and cover and result in a lot of people being infected with the Omicron variant, which is relatively mild compared to the older variants. And what appears to be the case in South Africa is that this thing peaks and then comes back down fairly quickly. So if it follows that pattern, I'm thinking by late February, this surge will be over and so many people will have been infected with COVID that there's going to be significant immunity between that and the number of vaccinations. So I'm hopeful that this will be the last big surge that we see of COVID, and it'll become sort of endemic and there'll be just a low number of cases chronically. And hopefully everybody will start getting vaccinated against it, just like they do other common diseases that are preventable. And so this thing will become manageable and be kind of like seasonal flu. So I'm hoping by late February, it'll start it being safe to meet in person again.
Any questions for Paul? Okay, thank you, Paul. Yeah, we're all hoping the same thing you are. I think we're all just about done with COVID. Okay, speaking of COVID and future meetings, I don't think it's necessary to take a vote right now. We had a pretty spirited discussion on when to start in-person meetings again and with the board before this meeting. And we're going to continue discussing it a little later this week in a special board meeting. The object of the future meeting later this week will be to set some firm criteria for that we need to meet before we start meeting in person again. But as Paul stated, hopefully, maybe by February, that can occur again. More to come on that. For everybody, please suggest some speakers for us and let Reggie know that right now. Special recognition was sent out to some members who donated $100 or more with Happy Dollars for the Polio Plus program. So hopefully you got a message from the district. If you know you sent $100 or more in Happy Dollars in December or in the last couple of months, and you did not get that letter, say something to me and we'll check that out. But also remember, those are tax deductible dollars as well, since it's giving to charity. And thank you to all those who did give at least $100 or more over and above your dues and so forth. And also remember, if we had Polio Plus Giving Tuesday, if you gave money there, that's also tax deductible. Let's see. All right, we're not going to go on too long with this, but any ongoing projects? Bill, I know you're working heavily on one right now for the arts raffle. I'll let you speak on that.
Yeah, actually, we're making some progress at Marianne Smith. This week, probably, I'm going to go up and meet with one of the board members and scope out some work that we can do as part of our sweat equity element of the 3-club grant. It looks like we'll be putting tiles in ceilings, which is kind of simple. So I'll be once we nail that down, I'll make a call for 2 or 3 of us to jump in the car, drive up there, spend maybe half day. I'm not sure how long it will take to get that done. So the other thing is our fundraiser for the spring. I'm delighted to report that is taking off. I've invited Jim Rich to join the team. And what Jim brings to the table is tremendous marketing skills and the ability, if we choose to do so, putting up a website to display our art. Probably not necessarily to sell it, but we're going to have, at the rate we're going, probably 8 to 10 pieces of art. There are artists all over the Eastern Shore, and Rick Hubbard knows them all. He's been feeding me names, and it's just a matter of finding these people. And when I do find them, nobody has turned me down, and we really haven't started making all our phone calls. So I will be calling another meeting of the team to see where we are and push forward on the identification of these art pieces, and then formulating a strategy to market the raffle program, come up with timing. It's one of those things, you'd like to wait for the tourists to come, but then, we need the money now. So we've got to go through decisions like that. So Chuck, again, greatest idea the club has had in 30 years. So thanks again for coming up with that.
You bet. And by the way, I do have this Willie Crockett print here. Are you going to be there this afternoon? I'll walk it down and drop it off to you.
I hang on to it for a while because,
Okay.
I've got to figure a room to store this stuff.
All right.
Because and let me tell you this one thing, and I'll get off. This one fellow I met, his name is John Harlow. Never heard of him. Went and knocked on his door. He invited me in. His girlfriend said, "I'm surprised he let you in the house." But the guy, he's an artist, so he's kind of
temperament.
Yeah, there you go. And a very private person, but he showed me all his stuff. I think he thought maybe I wasn't legit, so he said, have Rick Hubbard call me. So Rick called him, and Rick got back to me and said, this guy is thinking about giving us one of his $500 pieces. So,
Wow.
so this thing is coming along. So that plus, hopefully crab cakes in July, Paul won't be able to stand himself.
He'll be dripping in money. Okay. Is there anybody actually doing things like the Boys and Girls Club in the Mary Ann Smith building yet? Are they meeting there?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They're meeting every day after school. In fact, we had a board meeting last night. They mask up, and because the kids are at school.
Yeah, yeah.
And Boys and Girls Club is just after school. You do what you did after, during school. You just continue doing it until your mom and dad can pick you up from work.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anybody else have any updates on projects or ideas for projects? Okay. Bill, why don't we move ahead with those happy dollars? All right. Yeah, so what? We've had a little bit of bad news in the last week or two with the COVID stuff, but shouldn't keep you from being happy about something else.
Jackie is happy.
Go ahead, Jackie.
I would like to pledge $1 happy dollar
Oh, God.
in support of Paul's sadness for his team having lost to Alabama. This is the Georgia t-shirt.
I'm glad my tears make you happy.
I thought maybe it was Green Bay Packers.
How happy were you, Jackie? Paul, you couldn't be too happy, man. You didn't even know that there was a game last night.
Okay, Bill Murphy.
Yeah, well, now that the cat's out of the bag, I wasn't going to say anything about it, but I tell you what, I've got 5, and certainly not happy dollars, but maybe along with Jackie's 1, Paul can somehow get that to Alabama and get the coach a raise. So maybe he'll try a little harder next year or something. But anyway, so there you go. That's mine for today.
Okay. Any other happy dollars?
I'm sorry, Bill, how much was that?
It's $5. Go ahead, Dave Kabler.
Yeah, hey, instead of watching football, man, I've been getting out on my bicycle and riding like a madman. I'm putting about, and this is in 40, 50 degree temperatures, I'm putting 40 or 50 miles a week on my bike.
Wow.
And I've got this 8-year-old grandson of mine. He's autistic, but let me tell you, man, this kid rides like the wind. And an 8-year-old on a little 20-inch bike pulling 10 miles and setting a pace that I can hardly keep up with.
That's Tour de France. That's Tour de France.
And this is the best place in the world to ride a bike. Okay, I mean, Quinby, Cape Charles, Church Neck, I mean, all the little roads. I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to have that time with my grandson. And so $5 for that. Thank you, guys.
All right, be safe out there, because for some reason I find people driving in cars just don't see bicyclists all that well.
Yeah, be careful.
Go ahead, Bill Payne.
I think John, I'd like to see John go first.
I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going crazy this week, but I'm going to goad somebody. I $10. And the first 5 is I have ordered a shirt for Bill Murphy, a 2X. It's a West Virginia shirt. It's not gaudy. I think he'll be happy to wear it even on the golf course, and I'm happy to see him model it. That'll be probably next week. And also, I told Paul yesterday I would wear my Georgia shirt or my West Virginia hat for Saban. He could pick. he wanted Saban. I guess I didn't help enough, so that's what it is. But I asked Paul if he would pull a Reggie on his birthday. Paul's birthday was yesterday, I believe, and he went dark on me, like he couldn't hear. He got deaf. So I'm waiting to see if he's going to match what Reggie did last week for his birthday. So that's my $10.
All right. Well spent. Go ahead, Bill Payne.
No, let Bill, well, no, I'll go after John because John has influenced the amount of my happiness. I was only going to be 5 happy, but John, I've got to at least match you. And my first 5 is
John has a job.
Yeah, John. Well, you know.
Why don't you up it, John?
Yeah, but Jackie, I've got you, money bags.
I have a wife too, just like Jackie. I have a wife. That has money. We married. We have partners above our raising. So.
My first $5 of happiness is I'm happy to see Jackie so happy because she I've never seen her have so much fun tricking somebody. It happens every once in a while. So Jackie, I'm happy for you, worth $5. Jackie just threw me a kiss. That is great. The other $5 is for, in terms of an announcement. The Rotary Youth Leadership Awards Conference will be held over President's weekend. However, it's going to be virtual again this year. But they're learning how it was virtual last year and the kids liked it. So they're doing it again. But what really makes me happy is I sent the announcement to my friend Mike Myers at Northampton High, and his guidance counselor got back to me within 2 hours. Actually called me and said, how do we do this? So as you know, it's always a challenge working with Northampton High School because of all the challenges they have. So I think we're going to have a good Rotary Youth Leadership Awards Conference this year. So Paul, get your checkbook out.
Yeah. Bill Murphy, I think I saw your hand go up again.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm watching on my iPad, so I didn't see John right away. But I've got another $5 happy just because I want John to know how much I appreciate him looking out for the fact that I need some new clothes. It will be my great pleasure to wear his West Virginia gear next week or whenever. I will always treasure it.
I have $5 happy.
You know, if you wear it upside down, it almost looks like MA instead of WV on it. Paul, I think I saw your hand go up.
Oh, Maddie.
Maddie.
Yeah.
Maddie.
Well, I have $5 happy. I just returned from Denver to watch the Broncos get defeated by the Kansas City Chiefs. But then when on my en route trip flight, Georgia was playing, and I was happy to know that when I arrived at Norfolk, Georgia won because my children went to Georgia.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know you were a big football fan.
Well, I'm not, but I just went to Denver because my niece married the manager of the Browns and of the Broncos, and therefore I
Really?
Yeah. So I was treated like a VIP.
Were you there when all the fires were going on?
No, that was last week.
Okay. Okay, Paul.
Well, I'm going to have to respond to John Burtis. I'm not going to let him shame me into giving this huge amount of money that the high rollers like Reggie and him do. But yesterday was my birthday. I didn't get my biggest birthday present, which would have been Alabama win, but I still had a happy birthday. And I've got a lot to be happy for. I'm old but still in pretty good shape, I think.
How old are you?
As far as I know. So I'm going to give $11 happy. which is, there's a multiple of that that's my age now. And that's more than John Burtis gave today. So that's the best I can do.
Okay. You know what? A lot of birthdays this last couple of weeks. I know Reggie's was in there. Mine was January 7th. So mine was just 4 days ago. And yeah, I'll tell you what I reached. I'm 71 years old. So happy to be around, 71 years. I don't know if everybody else is, but I am. So I'll give $5 for my birthday. Any more happy dollars? Go ahead, Reggie.
I have 5 happy
Yes,
dollars because I'm so happy to see Phil Wilhelm sitting there, ready to address us. Phil, I would have given 30 happy dollars had you brought roasted oysters for everybody, but good to see you.
All right, Reggie.
Yes. One of my bucket list items, a soft one, was to potentially go up into space, right?
Oh, that's
okay. But I have to say, even though I haven't been to space, I did get to spend an hour on a Zoom meeting with someone who did go to space. So Richard Branson, for an hour a few days ago on a Zoom meeting, and that was tremendously inspiring and interesting. So I'll give $5 for that opportunity to sit in a meeting with them.
Well, when people ask me what I took up in school, I always tell them I took up air and space.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
Let Alan go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Alan.
I'm just happy to have our daughter home for several weeks from Saudi Arabia. COVID has had a lot of impact upon travel and that kind of thing, but she's here for now. And I just want to say that I'm glad to have her.
How much are you giving, Alan?
What's that?
How much? How many happy dollars?
Well, $5. Because this may be a weekly thing for a while.
Okay. I'm sorry, I missed it. Did you say 5?
5, yeah.
Okay. Any more? John Burtis, you're back on the podium.
Yeah, I just wanted a couple of things. I want to welcome Phil too. I forgot to do that. He looks better with Bonnie, but he looks okay by himself too. So I'm glad to see him. And Reggie, for those of you who have forgotten and Phil doesn't know about this, Reggie gave $75 for his 75 years. I gave $75 last week, and between Paul and Chuck, they gave $20. So I'm gonna do another 10 and ask it be divided among the 2 of them to buy them lunch because they're cheap. But happy to both of you.
You know, I find as I get older and older, I want to celebrate less and less birthdays.
Yes, I want to take an opportunity to welcome Phil as well. Phil, I really appreciate you responding to our request to speak, and we're looking forward to hearing some really great information from you.
Thank you.
And with that, why don't we go ahead and bring Phil on? And Annette, I think, sends her regrets. It turns out she had a doctor's appointment today. So Phil is going to carry the weight. And Phil, will bring you on and let us talk to you about Adopt a Block in Northampton County.
That sounds good. I'm not sure if everybody sees the exact same arrangement of people on the screen, but I feel like I'm on Hollywood Squares. And I think if Stan moved over one and Randy moved up one, I would win, because I know Jackie, I know Stan, I know Randy, I know John, and so I would have it diagonally across the screen. So anyway, it is great to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk very briefly about what Adopt a Block does. My name is Phil Wilhelm, and I thank you for inviting me to have the opportunity to share about Adopt a Block Northampton. you probably know two very important people in Adopt a Block. Your distinguished Rotary colleagues, John Burtis is our lawyer, and Annette Brown is one of our Adopt a Block directors. And she also operates the emergency food pantry out of Lower Northampton Baptist Church. So the first question might be, what is Adopt a Block? Well, Adopt a Block is a popular name. It's used nationwide by churches that serve the needs of others in their neighborhoods. So if you go around the country, you might hear the term or the name Adopt a Block applied to any ministry that a church might have to serve people in their neighborhoods. But in many areas, groups of people from multiple churches serve together, and they use the name Adopt a Block. And that's how our Adopt a Block organization operates. It's a parachurch group. And our ministry was actually registered as a tax deductible 501c3 corporation in 2016. And we have no paid staff, except for John when he gives us a bill for doing his legal duties. Our first official Adopt a Block outreach event took place about 10 years ago with 4 people. And at present, we operate with about 25 people who serve the needs of 85 residents and 36 single parent families. Our goal is to establish and maintain relationships with everyone we serve so that we can meet their unfilled needs and also share the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're unabashed about that. We serve people at Myrtle Landing, which used to be called Heritage Acres, William Hughes, and now we're starting to serve some of the folks who live in Bayview. During our visits, once a month, the residents share their life stories, their health issues, and their prayer requests. And just about every single one of them wants us to pray with them before we leave. And the next question might be, how do we serve? Well, we've gone through quite a few changes in the past few years, but we partner with the Lower Northampton Baptist Church Emergency Food Pantry. And that food pantry is registered with the Eastern Shore Food Bank. And we work through them to procure and distribute food on a monthly basis. The Emergency Food Pantry normally purchases about 800 to 1,000 pounds of food every month from the Eastern Shore Food Bank at an average cost of 18 cents a pound. But since the onset of COVID, the food bank items have become available to us through no-cost government programs. Once a month, the food bank supplies fresh produce and 2 types of boxed, shelf-stable items. One type of box is for seniors, and the other box is for primarily younger families. We receive food items from the food bank at Lower Northampton Baptist Church on a Friday afternoon once a month. The very next day, volunteers meet at about 10 a.m. to load the boxes into a trailer, and then we move out to distribute food to the residents. And we also have a church from across the bay that has partnered with us. We also provide clothing and other needs, for instance, bedding, bath towels, infant needs, coats, pots and pans, cleaning supplies. And then we also collect and distribute donated furniture, such as beds, dressers, coffee tables, sofas, recliners, kitchen tables and chairs, and anything that someone might need in a small apartment. We also have several outreach events during the year. For instance, we have, just like a lot of other groups, we pass out food at Thanksgiving and Christmas. We have barbecues and picnics. We provide, in the past, we've provided school supplies for children. But we've come to understand that we really need to do more to connect with people and provide more than physical needs, especially at Bayview. Now, we've just started to serve there. In the past, we've started, but we really haven't been able to follow through with several initiatives. For instance, some kind of after-school program for children. And listening to just a few comments from you all, it sounds like you have things that are going on to develop the leadership in some of the people in school. We've also tried to do some tutoring and some special training, but we've run into roadblocks along the way, especially from sometimes the managers that operate the, they're responsible for managing these projects. I'm sorry, the facilities where we want to serve. And so we've kind of run into roadblocks, and then trying to get in transportation is always an issue too. But at Bayview, I think we're learning that we have the opportunity to teach life skills, especially to some of the younger able-bodied folks who just don't know how to do things. Almost, I kind of think, and this is probably not a really good descriptor, but I'm thinking about something like a big brother, where you're able to help, come in and understand what people want to do, and then help to equip them. So we're thinking about maybe trying to provide monthly training. We're teaching on topics like budgeting or healthy cooking, just to help people who have these kinds of needs. And of course, we know there are other ways to engage and help the people that we serve, but we kind of need new or better ideas on how to do that. Because when you've been doing it for a while, or trying to do things, you kind of get stuck in your current way of thinking, and sometimes it helps to have some good ideas from the outside. So we need some new ideas, and also we need some people that are willing to help, because we could expand the food distribution to others, but we really just don't have enough consistent volunteer folks coming out on Saturdays. So I guess my challenge to you all is maybe some of you or someone that you might know might have some time to invest, might be willing to get involved, and to use your time and talents to help others. So with that, I'll open it to questions if you have any.
Yes, I have a question regarding donations. You receive items that you in turn donate to people that you serve. If individuals have items, how would they contact you, or how would they alert you that there are potential items available? What types of items would you accept, and those types of things? Do you have a systematic way of answering that question?
I don't have our Adopt the Block phone number on hand right now, and I will get that to you. But we have a Facebook page that I think has our phone number, and you could always email me directly. But typically we would like items that people who have a small apartment or a small home can use. Like, for instance, if you would want to donate a big dining room table and a hutch with dining room chairs, that would not be appropriate. But a kitchen table with chairs, plates, pots, pans, glasses, a recliner. That's one thing that a lot of our older residents ask for, because a lot of them don't have the mobility or have health issues and ask for a recliner. But and maybe end tables, typically full size box springs and mattresses, bed frames, linens, things of that nature.
Okay, great, thank you. Apartment size types of things.
Yes.
Go ahead, Bill Payne.
Bill Payne, how do you identify the families and individuals you serve?
We canvass. So if, for instance, in Myrtle Landing, that was one of the first places that we went. And I think there may have been about 15 people we served when we first went there. But then as people became aware and saw us there once a month, they came up to us, and then we actually canvassed the other apartments and asked if people were interested.
So you actually knocked on doors?
Yes, we did. And that's what we're doing down in Bayview. I think right now, this coming Saturday will be the first time that we will actually distribute food. And I think we have 14 people signed up for the boxes that go to the more senior folks. And just by word of mouth in that neighborhood, I think we'll have a few more people signing up.
Thank you.
I would assume most of the seniors have Medicare or in some other way take care of their prescription drugs through government programs. But what about over-the-counter type things like aspirins, Aleve, vitamins, things like that that can cost a lot of money but are not covered by insurance plans? Do you work with some of that for the seniors and kids?
That's a good question. We have not done that. We have not done that.
Okay. Might be something to think about.
Yeah, it's a very good idea.
Yeah. Anyone else have some questions for Phil or comments?
I have a question. In listening to your presentation, you mentioned challenges with facility managers, but I wasn't quite clear on what you were actually saying about that.
Okay, I'll give you two examples. One is that the facility manager at one of the places just didn't want anybody who had a Christian, slant to their ministry to serve the people there. So it was personal. Okay, and in another case, there were some changes that the facility was going through, and so we weren't able to do it. And the facility manager wasn't able to really work with us to develop a workaround.
So is it meeting space or is it working with their members that you were trying to do?
We were trying to work with their members.
Okay, all right.
In other words, for instance, if you have a group of folks that were interested in learning how to manage their monthly income and to not spend more than they have coming in, that was something we were offering, but they weren't willing to give us the space.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
How long have you been in operation, Phil, this organization?
About 10 years.
Okay. And a little bit of your background, or are you from this area then, or?
No, I came from the Maryland area, and my wife and I bought property down here in 2004, and we finished building our home in 2014. And so we've been down here since 2013.
Okay, well, I'm a fellow Marylander as well. I'm from Baltimore originally.
Okay, and so is Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead,
I have a
Joan.
question. Hey, Phil, I looked on Facebook and there's a whole bunch of Adopt-A-Blocks. Is there any more keywords that I need to use? Are you like Adopt-A-Block Cape Charles or Chariton or Northampton County?
We're actually Adopt-A-Block Northampton.
Thank you. And how do you determine what kinds of food you deliver? Do you have a standard list of foods that are basic needs?
Well, we used to go up to the food bank and select the food that we were going to give out. But since COVID, they actually, the government has determined what is healthy, and they already have it boxed in a box that's supposed to contain no more than 40 pounds of items. And then we give them a huge sleeve of cheese. So everything in the box is shelf stable to include milk. And then the food bank always gives us fresh produce. And then during the harvest season, some of the local farmers give us fresh produce. A lot of times we'll have fresh potatoes, we'll have corn, green beans, and things like that.
Thank you.
But in the past, what we typically did was we provided frozen chicken. And a lot of that would be donated by Purdue. I say donated, the food bank would have it at food bank prices from Purdue and Mountain Air.
Right.
And what is the difference between the senior box and the regular box?
I don't know the actual difference, but the senior box, there's it's a government program that people have to qualify for based on their income. And so their income can't be above a certain level. And if they can demonstrate that to us and demonstrate with some kind of ID who they are, we have a form the food bank gives us that they have to fill out, and they actually identify a proxy to receive their box if they aren't there. And so if they aren't there and the proxy aren't there, they don't get a box. But the boxes for primarily families, there's no registration for that. We just have to make sure that that there's a majority of the people we distribute to are families. So then we can give those boxes to everybody that doesn't receive a senior box.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Phil? Well, Phil, at that,
Hey,
go ahead.
Chuck, I just
Yeah.
want to mention for Murphy and Strong and Stram that Phil went to a real school. He went to the Naval Academy, so he didn't go to
Annapolis.
he didn't go to any of these little pro-dunk schools like Arkansas or Alabama or Tech or West Virginia. He went to real school. He's a really nice guy too. If you don't know him, he's a great guy.
Were you career Navy, Phil?
I was on active duty for 6, and then I did my other 14 in the reserves.
Okay, so it was a full 20 years then, right?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
All right.
So he probably knows Bob Titcomb really well.
I don't.
Hey, Phil, you might point out that your school won their big game this year.
Yeah, you get some bragging rights.
You didn't win the trophy though.
Right.
Now, did you happen to be assigned out of Little Creek by any chance? Navy base here in Norfolk?
Norfolk.
Yeah, okay.
I was a surface line officer, and I was on board a destroyer escort out of
So Chuck, we have to correct you there. Little Creek is Marine Corps. Norfolk is Naval.
Okay.
That's right.
I thought it was always called Little Creek Naval Base, but I stand corrected. Okay, any other questions for Phil? Phil, we really appreciate you coming today and giving that our best.
I will.
Hopefully everything's all right, or just a routine exam today.
She's actually taking her, I think her mom has some medical doctor visits.
Okay, okay. All right. With that, just a couple other items real quick. Make sure to call your buddies and friends And when I say buddies, I mean your buddy within the Rotary Club. And also invite friends and neighbors as we start approaching the vacation season and, you know, try to snag somebody. We will talk in the future a little bit about when the spring rolls around, possibly once a month or so, setting up a little stand in Strawberry Plaza to hand out some Rotary literature as people get more and more outside. And hopefully we can drum up some membership that way. But if anybody has any other things they want to say or ask a question, please do so now.
Hey, this is Al, and
Yeah.
I have one thing that I'd like to say and just kind of go on the record.
Okay.
I just wanted to thank the Rotary Club, the Cape Charles Rotary Club, for all of you that helped donate to the Navy SEAL Foundation Tampa Bay swim. And I just want to make sure to go on record to thank everybody for helping out meet my fundraising goal. I'll be swimming on Sunday, and just wanted to make sure that you guys know that I'm really appreciative of you stepping up and helping me reach the fundraising goal. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Al. And you got the hardest part of the job on all that. Our side's the easy part.
Thank you.
Hopefully that water temperature comes up a little bit before you get down there. 64 degrees, just a little chilly.
Yeah, it'll be all right. But
Yeah.
thanks again, everyone.
And thank you, Al. All right, with that, Bill, why don't we go ahead and for the four-way test of Rotary. Number one, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And we do have Stan here, so I'm going to let him throw in the 5th one.
Hey, Phil, congratulations and glad you came by to speak to us because we have fun.
Yes, we do, no matter what. All right, thank you, everyone. Be safe out there and have a good day.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Karen.